It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang. When I was 22, I went to a thing called Wine on the Lake in Erie, Pennsylvania. And basically what it is like a huge convention center, and there's a bunch of different booths of different wine companies, and it's like a huge wine tasting. There's like hundreds of fucking wine companies there. Mind you, at this time I was like fairly new to smoking and like fairly new to drinking. Like I had only started drinking. I had my first drink when I was 21, so like the year before dinner. So I went with my cousin, a male cousin. I went with a female cousin, and then a sister, my oldest sister. Before I went to my sister's house, and they was all smoking. So I'm like, okay, let me, you know what I mean? So and I got super duper, I'm gonna say elevated. So we go to Wine on the Lake, and I get crossfaded. I may be like 2-3 booths in, and I start getting woozy. I'm like, oh snap! Like let me relax. And apparently, like, and I remember some of this. Apparently, I told my male cousin who I was with, I was like, hey, Mir, like, I'm not feeling too good. I need to sit down. And by the time he turned around, he said all he saw was me lay down. He said I laid down like a princess. Like I didn't fall. I laid down. I remember falling for some reason, but he said I laid down. And I remember just feeling so woozy. I remember coming in and out, and there was a bunch of people around me. And all I remember was I saw my sister cracking up on the side, and she was like recording. And people were like trying to do CPR. People were trying to find like find the phones to call the ambulance. The ambulance come in, and all I remember was seeing my sister. And I'll never forget this memory. Seeing my sister crack up. She was laughing at me. And I don't know if she was recording or if she was maybe FaceTiming somebody, but she kind of had her phone up like this, cracking up at me. Like, and I'm on the ground, seizing up. I'm seizing. Like they were saying I was seizing. Like I couldn't breathe. I remember saying, I can't see. I can't see. I remember that. I cannot see. Like it was going in and out. And I felt like my chest was just like, it felt like my inside, like, I don't know. I felt like I was like dying or something. And I couldn't breathe. I just kept saying, I can't see. I can't breathe. Like my chest hurts. My chest hurts. And I just kept coming in and out, and I kept seeing my sister laughing. And to this day, I'm 25 now, so that was like 3 years ago. To this day, I don't know if I ever really like if I ever did forgive her, but I can't say. Sometimes the thought, the memory pops up, like, because I took pictures that day, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I have a lot of different like crazy ass traumatic stories involving my siblings, like my family, and that was one of the ones where it's just like, of all things you could have did, not check on me. You didn't do anything. You laughed and you recorded. Didn't do nothing. I don't remember her at all standing over me. No, you okay? I'm here. No, nothing. And then when I got out the hospital, because they were saying like, oh, something must have been in your in like the things that I had, you know what I mean? And I was like, dang, okay, whatever. So the hospital gave me like a list of things, and I was like, yeah, they said it might be something in the stuff we was doing. And she was like, nah, ain't nothing in my blah blah. She started yelling at me, cussing me out. Not once did she check to see if I was okay. Nobody called, no nothing, because who knows? But yeah, that's my story about Wine on the Lake and my sisters. It's a great representation of how, like, the relationship I have with my siblings. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that sounds terrible. She got another story that I was gonna get into, but I seen it, so I figured I'd go ahead and check it out. But one thing I want to say is that you had a chemical imbalance that day, and probably um, like we don't know it, but we be having a lot of oxygen. We lose a lot of oxygen going to our blood and our brain and stuff like that, and that may cause that. There's a lot of things, because I remember my friend, he smoked before basketball practice, or and you could have hit your head or something and caused that to happen, the seizure to happen. Like as you lay down, you hit your head, and that causes seizure. But you could have just been tired. I'm gonna tell y'all what. When I smoke, I don't smoke and drink at the same time, because when I smoke and drink, like if I'm drunk and then I smoke, I get overwhelmed. I can't feel my body. I gotta eat something to calm my body down. Like it feel like my blood sugar be low, all that shit. So I just learned not to. I just quit smoking really, because drinking was legal, smoking wasn't. now smoking is legal. So at one point I quit drinking and started smoking, but I don't do that anymore. But the fact is, your body is always gonna react to smoking and drinking. So you gotta learn not to do it at the same time. I used to be like at parties and I'd be drinking, and then just hit a blunt or whatever, and then I had to go sit in somewhere cool and cool off and let people like, man, you okay? I'll be like, man, just leave me alone. I'm good. I'm just out right now. Like, so I was no good. So I had to realize I had to stop doing that. So it's some chemical imbalance. Mine's stop. Man, I just talked about this. Mine started when I got my neck cut. Once I got my neck cut, and I got my neck cut, and I had alcohol poisoning in the same, like in a 3 month span. And right after that, my body was never the same when it came to drinking and smoking. So, you know, I don't know, cause before those incidents, I could drink, smoke all day, pop pills, all that shit.
When I was 21, I let my sister stay with me, and I caught her and my boyfriend doing things they didn't need to be doing. And that night I left because it was too much. And then when I came back the next day to get my stuff, I got jumped by my boyfriend and his male best friend Jacoby, and it was like whooping my ass, but I gave them business. I gave them the business. Shout out to me. And then my sister came in and was like, all right, y'all, that's enough. And then the Jacoby guy ends up running away because the police were called. And then my boyfriend, ex-boyfriend now, and my sister ended up living together in my apartment because I had to leave. The police told me I had to go, or I was going to go to jail again, because the same sister had squatted in my house a year before, and we ended up fighting, and I went to jail because I was trying to get her out the house. And then I ended up on probation, which is how I ended up in Houston, because I had to leave that house too. Mind you, these are all apartments that have my name on them. But anyway, when I was 21, I caught my sister kissing my boyfriend, and they had been fucking in my house where I let her stay for free. And then they set me up to get jumped by 2 boys. When I was
Yo, she got the worst family in the world. Hey, but this had to be when she was young, cause she, you know, I don't know what to say about this, man. All I can say is what I learned at a very young age is to not bring my friends around my woman. You know what I mean? Including brothers and all that shit. Like, I only got one brother, but I don't think my brother would do that. But at the same time, when you think you know 2 people and that happens to you, oh, that'll scar you for life. And it didn't scar me to know my friend was messing with my baby mama. It was more like, it was the embarrassment of this dusty ass nigga. Like, you could have chosen anybody in the world, but you chose my dusty ass friend. So then I'm just like, you know, you you deserve to be lonely. And you know what? Listen, once you cross that line, there's no coming back. And then after that, just move on with your life. Move on with your life. You could do so much better in life when you move on with your life. So don't take it hard. Just move on with your life. It don't even matter. Like, those, if it wasn't you, it was somebody else. Matter of fact, the fact that he slept with your sister, that just tells you he was sleeping with other people too. If a man sleeps with your sister, he's definitely cheating with other women. But whatever.
Sure, why not? Okay, so this one has like a lot of context. Not that I'm to blame for any of this. So this goes back to before I got to Houston. So when I was in Georgia, before I got to Houston, I lived in Georgia, and I was in the military. After I got out of the military, I was stationed in Savannah, so I moved to Augusta. where my mom was paying like most of my bills, and when my mom would pay any of my bills, she would like kind of control a lot of my household. So she would tell me, like, she told me my sister and her baby gotta live with me because my mom was paying the bills and whatever. And then she said, your brother gotta live with you too. So I'm like, okay, fuck, right? So that didn't last very long. My sister started wearing my clothes. She started doing a lot of disrespectful stuff in the house. And once she got mail, once she lived there for a little bit, for like maybe a few weeks, it got real bad to the point where like it's almost like she was trying. She was just like seeing how far she can go. So at one point I was like, you gotta go. Like, you can leave the baby, but you gotta go. And she was refusing to leave. So we ended up getting into this huge fucking fight, right? Where I'm just I'm putting her stuff out and she's steady throwing knives at me, right? Throwing knives. And so my favorite thing is bleach. I like chemical warfare in fights. So I toss bleach and she picks the baby up. What the fuck? So that's the reason I ended up going to jail. So I ended up going to jail. I was in there for like 10 days, but then I ended up getting out. And once I got out, I was like, okay, I gotta go. I gotta get the fuck out of here. So I took my name off the lease and I fucking left. And I went to Houston. Now, while she and I were like arguing and I'm putting her out, she's coming back in. I'm calling the police. The police telling me that due to squatter rights, she has the right to be here. All this extra shit. My boyfriend, who is also in the military, who's also getting out of the military, but it's a long ass process to get out of the military. He's coming to visit me. He's driving 2 hours from Savannah to come to Augusta. And he, you know, when he's there, they is friendly. They is friendly. But I never would have thought my sister would have done something like this to me. So I was letting the waters just slide. Let's just say that. So the day comes where I moved to Houston. I moved to Houston and I'm staying with my boyfriend's cousin. His cousin name is Al, and his girlfriend. So I'm staying with Al and Tay. So Al and Tay let me stay with them for like 2-3 months while my boyfriend is getting out the military. What the plan was is I stayed with them, stack my bread. By the time my boyfriend get out the military, we can get an apartment. That's exactly what we did. We didn't stay with Al and Tay no longer than like, I think 3 days, right? So we ended up getting our own apartment. Within 3 months of me being in that apartment with my boyfriend, my sister texted me. It was like, hey, I need you to watch my baby. Like, I need help. You know what I mean? I can't take care of him. So I'm like, all right, but fuck it. All right, I'll watch him. So I watched him, and it was the best time of my motherfucking life. By far, the best time of my life. Love that baby down to death. And then 3 months into that, she calls me and was like, hey, so I wasn't able to get my shit together. I need somewhere to stay. So I'm like, all right, well, you can come stay here, I guess. Fuck it. You can come stay here. So she comes into my apartment, and like that first week, I noticed an immediate shift in my relationship. Like, we started fucking fussing and shit. We were like screaming at each other, which we never really did. And it was just very uncomfortable, like extremely uncomfortable. As time goes on, I think maybe like we're 3 months into this. Everything happened in like 3 month increments. We're 3 months into her living with me, and my boyfriend and I, we're just getting more and more angry at each other, just arguing. Like, I can't stand you. So Valentine's Day, or the week of Valentine's Day, what was that, 2022? I want to say, yeah, 2022. He comes into the room, and he's like, hey, will you be my Valentine? Mind you, we was beefing at this point anyway. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. I'll be a Valentine. So he leaves the room, and I hear him ask my sister, who's in the kitchen, will you be my Valentine? I'm like, the fuck? So I get up and I walk into the kitchen, and the way that my apartment was set up was when you open the door, straight down the hallway, you can see into the kitchen. And all I saw was them kissing. All right, so I go in there, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, and they both kind of panic, like they kind of let go or whatever, and I leave. I go to Al and Tay house for that night. I just go to Al and Tay house. Like, I needed some time to relax because I was on probation and I was going to go to jail for fucking murder. All right, so I go to Al and Tay's house for the night, and as I'm at Al and Tay's house, I'm getting text messages from my ex, from my sister, and from his best friend on Facebook or whatever, and I'm just ignoring it. I'm ignoring all of it, and the text messages is kind of reading a little weird. Like, could you please come to the house? Can we talk about it? We really want you to come to the house. Please come to the house. We need to talk. Please come to the house. Mind you, they knew where I was at. Please come to the house. this is weird. Okay, that's suspicious. So I don't, obviously. And the next morning, my plan was to go grab as much as I can and go back to Al and Tay's house. But when I came back, we had two parking lots where you can enter the apartment. There's one on this side and one on this side, going up, and this one goes this way. But you can see into the parking lots, right? If I came in this way, I parked right here, I could see this parking lot. I saw them, my sister, my ex-boyfriend, and his best friend running in and out the house with stuff. I'm imagining, okay, whatever, that's all his shit. I come into the house, and it indeed is all his shit, but he has one pair of shoes in the house. One pair of shoes. And for some fucking reason, he absolutely needed this one pair of shoes. And I didn't know that they were in the house, right? But I go in, and all of his shit is gone. So I'm like, all right, bet. Fuck it. It's in my name, whatever the fuck. So I close the door, and I lock it. Next thing you know, bang, bang, bang on the door, right? And I hear Jacoby, his best friend. And it sounded like they own some type of drug. So like, when I tell you, they kicked the door open, like they both came in shirtless, super duper mad, and I got a bong, and I hit my ex-boyfriend with it, and a bong broke. And after I hit him, Jacoby, his best friend, like clocked me right there, right? And I kind of fell down or whatever. I got up and I started like giving Jacoby the motherfucking business. And then my boyfriend, he knocked me out as I'm fighting Jacoby, and I go down. And so I'm on the ground, and I'm just kind of like blocking my face, and they just start going in on me, right? I end up pulling Jacoby down on top of me, and no, I end up pulling my boyfriend down on top of me to where Jacoby couldn't hit me no more. And I just kind of had him like this. So Jacoby stopped, and I rolled over, and I was able to get to my feet, but my boyfriend pulled my hair down, and Jacoby, as my boyfriend has my hair, Jacoby going in on my face, like punching me, like hard as shit. I'll never forget that shit, bro. Fucking nose hurt thinking about it. Going in on me, like, and they try to drag me to the front door. As they're dragging me, my sister comes to the fucking front door with my nephew, my baby on her hip, talking about, all right, y'all, that's enough. That's why I think it was a setup. Because what the fuck you mean it was enough? And why the fuck did y'all want me to come to the house so fucking bad the night before when y'all knew exactly where I was? Anyway, she said that's enough. Jacoby ends up running away. My ex-boyfriend, the neighbor ends up coming out. Shout out to that neighbor because she was with the shits. She was ready to whoop all of their ass. My ex-boyfriend, like, he ends up running or whatever, but the police were able to catch him. They take me to the hospital because I had bruises and shit. And then I ended up leaving. That was the last time I went into that apartment. Like, no fucking lie. That was the last time I went into that apartment. And then come to find out, my sister and him, they stayed together for a few months, and they lived in the apartment, but I was able to take my name off of that apartment. And yeah, they live together kind of like a family or whatever. I don't fucking know. So the reason my ex-boyfriend and I was beefing on Valentine's Day, around Valentine's Day, was because it came time to evict her. And when I don't know if it was when we went to court or if we went to the office or whatever, but at one point he basically said he doesn't want her to leave. Like, I wanted her to leave. We were arguing, beefing, we was fighting in the house. He didn't want her to leave. He was saying, well, no, my name is on the lease too, and I don't want her to go. And that was like the reason that we were arguing. Like, I was already kind of fed up with him in the first place. And this was just kind of like the final straw. And happened to this day, my sister still denies ever seeing anything, ever saying, all right, y'all, that's enough. And she doesn't believe that they jumped me because she says she didn't see anything. I know for a fact what the fuck happened. I know for a fact what the fuck. Then she told me while they were together, after we had broke up, they went to church. Like, they were like really deep in the church after all that, which is very weird because neither one of them was religious, like literally. But no, they went to church, and Jacoby and my ex were like in the church, like literally putting it on God that they never did anything to me, and that it was just really weird thing. She was like, well, no, it's not that I don't believe that Jacoby and them didn't do anything. It's just, well, I come up and they got all the bruises and you're sitting here fine, blah, blah, because I was beating a motherfucking ass. Fuck do you mean? Like, yeah. But no, she basically was saying because they put it on God and they swore up and down, they was crying that they didn't put their hands on me and she didn't see nothing. Meanwhile, keep this in mind, she saw it. But this is her justification for not acknowledging, not apologizing, not anything. She apologized for doing what she was doing with him, but to this day, she will put it on her life, her baby's life, my big mama's life. She will put it on my life that she did not see me getting jumped. To this day.
Yo, I think by now she don't have no sisters. Because I would definitely not be talking to my family about the first one. I forgot what even the first story was about. the sister. Oh, watched her have a seizure. That was the first story. Um, yeah, man, I think her sisters don't like him, and I don't know if there's her older sisters or younger sisters, but one way or another, they have some animosity towards her, and I want to say it's her older sisters. One, because they have kids, and they was trying to get her life together, so they got to come stay with her, and they were really jealous of what she had going on. She's in the military. She has her own place. Even though her mom's paying for it, it doesn't matter. It's hers. Obviously, the mom wasn't going to pay for the one with the kids' place, probably because she was a screw up. And that's why the mama put her on her, because the mama was like, we ain't gonna have no evil in this house. So I rolled out, scoped me an ounce and sold out. But I messed up when I started living off in these hoes' house. Laying there and breaking the nigga off.